So I'm going to show you how I do my feather technique. I've got my white base coat, a lovely red, some gold, which is metallic, a brown, and I've also got some milk chocolate looking brown. I've got 6 pieces of string here, and I have 2 spared just in case I need them. We'll start with my base coat. You don't really need this too thick. I'm going to add a little bit more just to make sure. I use this brush that I found at an art supply store, and because I use Floetrol, it's self-leveling. Yeah. You want to make sure you get your sides nice and good, because this will have lots of blank space. My head's in the way, so maybe next time I'll record from a different direction. If the audio sounds just a little bit off, it's because I tried to upload this video on YouTube and Facebook. I had music playing in the background, and apparently copyright infringements on Facebook and YouTube said I couldn't do it. So I'm now narrating over the video as I watch it, hoping we can line it all up. I'm currently searching for my blowtorch so we can pop any bubbles that are in this canvas. And I did notice when I was blowtorching that because my paint has had time to settle, there's no bubbles in it whatsoever. So there's a little hair there from Tia, which we don't want. So we are going to pour this paint on our strings, but first let's move them together a bit, because that way we can save some of our paint. And this is the first time I've ever used brown paint in any acrylic painting I've done. I was a bit scared of it. And the results I was quite impressed with, so I hope you agree. That's Tia squeaking. Okay, so we are going to gently lay them down, and I want my feathers to be at a diagonal, so I'm going to start in a corner, and I usually try to start with the middle feather, and then I can decide how many more I want to add after. Once you lay your string down, let it sit there for just a second, Oh, you can't see what I'm doing. Let me move my arm. And slowly pull it around. If you go further out, you'll get bigger feathers. And if you pull it closer in, you get smaller. So then the next string, lay it right down where you laid the first string. And this time, you're going to pull in the opposite direction. You always want to use a new piece of string because it's obviously getting all mucky when you're pulling it. There you go. I do like how that looks. So we'll take the same wet string we just used, lay it in the very center, and use it to pull it down. And that will make the stem of the feather. And then add some more. I like odd numbers. I really love watching how that just happens like that too. It's really unique, like. And again, line it in the center, pull it down, use your string to make your center line. And this one's sort of not even on the canvas, so you won't see the stalk or stem or whatever you call it. But it still looks good. And I sort of like to do them at different angles too. There you go. And forgot to do the pull, so go back and get our line down the center. And this is why I like doing them sometimes at different angles, because if you watch how this crosses over like that, that looks so neat. Okay. Clean off our fingers. I don't like the white that you see there. I've got some extra string. And we're going to do another little pull, but only halfway up the feather, not the whole thing. I'll grab a knife real quick so that we can get our strings completely covered. I use knives because the paint washes off when it's wet, but it also, if you forget to wash it off, it also just peels right off of it. So it's quite convenient, really. Or lazy. So we're going to lay it down right back on the middle line. And we're only going to lay it down halfway up this time. And pull it off to the side. And that just adds a little more color into there, doesn't it? And the other side. And because we've redone it, we need to add the line back down the center. There you go. And then we're going to use our knife. And if you look at the bottom of a feather, there's always little like fluffy bits of feather. So if you go just to the stem that we've made and flick it out just a little bit, and that'll create the fluffy bits, which helps to make it look a lot more realistic. And with the fluffy bits on the bottom, less is more. You don't need lots. So if you look, you can sort of like reshape them a bit. It's a little brown bit I don't like, so flick it off. And we'll add a little bit more white there just to cover what we moved. And I think it's done right about there. But we'll take all the drips off the bottom. And we'll bring the camera down so you can have a look. That would be the upside. I quite like it upside down too, so we'll show you upside down. And we'll just do some final editing to some of these feathers. Try and pull some of the colors out into the white areas. Sometimes playing with it too much ruins it, so go with caution. Touch this one up a little bit more. Bye. That's Adrian and the doggies. Lots of love. Thank you for watching.